Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. As you can probably tell, a few changes here in the studio. Got the light in the back. I think gives it a really good aesthetic. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. In today's video, we're going to do our Sunday stock talk, doing some technical analysis, going over the NASDAQ as well as 6 other charts that I'm watching. Some pretty interesting stuff. We're going to look at Google as well, one of the stocks that has performed really well even through this tech sell-off. We'll talk a little bit about that. And we'll go over a few other stocks. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. First, before we get into it, make sure to press that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel for some more Sunday stock talks, going over some charts that you should watch coming into next week. And make sure to press that bell notification so you know every single time that I post on this channel. Alright guys, let's just go ahead and jump right into this. I'm feeling pretty refreshed. I really like this new setup and I think I'll be able to push out some really good content. Everything is pretty much fixed so I can get on these videos really quickly. No setup time. A little bit more quick, a little bit more streamlined, and that should help me push out some more videos. So let's go ahead and jump into these charts. So the first thing here is the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, you guys can see, has sold off quite a bit over the last week. So at the top was 13,900. And down to this bottom, let's see how much of a percent sell-off that was. So from the top here, let's just roughly grab the top here, and towards the bottom, if you guys didn't know, you can use the line tool and it'll show you the percentage drop. So from top to bottom, about a 12% drop. Now, what I was looking at with my Discord chat in the past was, if we look at these past drops over the last year, so let's take this one. So here, from a roughly top to bottom, that was about a 10% drop. And then this one over here back in September was roughly a 14% drop. So I was showing the chat how we had a 14%, about a 10 to 11%. And I figured that if we had another, double digit, maybe 10 to 15% drop, that would maybe be the bottom. Now, I don't want to call this the bottom because I don't truly know. No one knows what's going to happen. But we can see we found extremely nice support here at the 100-day. And it looks like on Friday we bounced back above that 100-day on the NASDAQ, which is definitely a bullish sign here. So we had a nice sell-off, which is probably needed. You guys can see we just moved straight up from about November until March. So a long amount of period of time moving straight up with very little dips. At these dips they were, let's see, these little dips here were probably a few percentage points, so 5%. This one was about a 2% drop. So just regular flows in the market. We did get a nice little correction here. So maybe this is the bottom. Maybe we find support here at the 100-day. But what I really liked from Friday was that we moved back up above it. We closed above it. We didn't just, wick up above the 100-day and sort of close but down below. We actually closed on top. So if you guys are familiar with candle bars, then you know that the top of this candle is where we closed the day, which is right around here at 12,652, which is above the 100-day moving average. So a good sign here for the tech sector, a good little bounce. Now, does this mean that we're going to move right back up, to the 50-day potentially? Maybe not. Does this mean we're just going to fall right back down and make new lows? That is very likely as well. So we don't know just yet, but this move higher on Friday is a good sign. My first target here on the NASDAQ is this level of resistance around 12,800, right in this range here. Now, the reason I say that is because we had previous support that will maybe turn into resistance here. So we had support here, we had support back here, we had support back here. So we have 3 areas where the NASDAQ found support just around that 12,800 level. And if we move back into this, maybe on Monday, maybe on Tuesday, I would expect some type of resistance there. If we break above that, very bullish sign. So let's see what happens on Monday, on Tuesday. Can we get above 12,800 on the NASDAQ? So that's my read here on the NASDAQ. Let's go ahead and jump into some other stocks. The first one I want to look at is Tesla. We always going to look at Tesla on these videos just because I track it quite a bit. And there's a lot of opportunity on Tesla, so it's good to know what is happening with this stock. So you guys can see, obviously, a very big sell-off here on Tesla. From top to bottom, let's just grab this $900 top. Top to bottom, we'll grab the bottom of Friday, about a 40% sell-off. So a huge sell-off here on Tesla. If you like Tesla at 800, if you like Tesla at 700, and you wanted to buy shares, why not buy it under 500? I think it is a good buy. I personally added some shares of Tesla here under in the 500, so let's see what happens. Maybe I, have some short-term pain if we continue to fall, but so far, I think a good ad here. Now, looking at the moving averages, 100-day, we did find support here temporarily on this day right here. This was the 23rd of February. We've just obviously rolled right back over. You guys can ignore these wicks. These are just TD Ameritrade showing these crazy wicks. The stock didn't actually move up to $880 a share. So we just rolled right back over with the NASDAQ. And you guys can see, even though Tesla did not close above the 100-day on Friday, this big wick here shows some type of bullishness, some type of buyers here down in the 500. So I'll go actually to the 1-minute chart here on Friday. And what you guys will see is that we had a big buy, a big dip buy here on Friday. So we sold off most of the day. 539 was the low, and the rest of the day we got bought up trying to close back above 600. We didn't close back above 600, but we definitely saw some buyers step in the 500. So what happens next week for Tesla? This is sort of in no man's land, in my opinion personally. Do we try to get back to the 100-day? Very possible. The 100-day is currently sitting at $638. So if Monday moves up to 638, I would expect some heavy resistance there at the 100-day moving average. If we blow right through that, then I think we do have some potential upside. The first target will obviously be around these lows right here, around these previous lows where we found some support. So I'm looking at around 660 as potential resistance here on the upside. And then if we get through that, we just have a lot of chop up here that I don't really know where we can move from this point. So Tesla's a little bit difficult to read right now with the technicals. I think the best thing that we can take a look at is the 4-hour and look at this 20-day moving average. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this. I'm going to turn off the after hours, the gray area you see for after hours, so we can get a little bit cleaner of a read here. So what you guys will see on the 4-hour, after this sell-off, after the 20-day moving average fell below the 50 and 100-day, we were not able to get above it on this whole grind lower. So here was one test, here was another test, here was another test. Here we temporarily got through, but ultimately failed this 20-day. So my first area that I'm looking for on Tesla to bounce back into is the 20-day moving average, which is sort of right around that 660, 650 level that we sort of charted out here. So you guys can see we had some support here at 650. We had a bounce, we had another bounce, and then on this was on Friday, we ultimately failed right through it and really sold off after that. So my idea is that if Tesla gets any type of buyers here, we bounce back into this 20-day moving average. If we fail that once again, then I could see us roll over again. But I think that is my first target there, 655, 650 on Tesla if we get any type of bullish movement. Let's see what happens. Tesla's definitely a wild card, but at this point, we are definitely in an oversold position in my opinion. You can see how strong this sell-off was on Friday. In the past, we sort of chopped back up into that 20-day, so I would not be surprised to see a move back to the 20-day, and then we could ultimately fail lower like this. But this move back into the 20-day, which is about a $50 move, will definitely give us opportunity to play call options. If you want to take some risky calls there, you can definitely make a lot if Tesla moves $50 a share. So there's Tesla. Let's go ahead and jump into the next chart. The next one is going to be Peloton. Now the reason I'm looking at Peloton, if we go to the daily chart, we had a big sell-off here on Peloton. So first off, let's delete these charts or these lines to make this clear for us. What we can see is from the highs, about 171, we had almost, I'm going to take it from the bottom here, we had almost a 50% sell-off. So 45% sell-off from the highs to the lows on Peloton. When a stock price gets cut almost in half from its previous highs, I would expect some type of bounce here. It's a little ridiculous for Peloton to drop almost 50% in my opinion, so I'm definitely going to be watching this for some upside potential. Peloton is a big mover when there's some support. I think we can definitely take some short-term calls here and try to make some money. Now the first level of support I'm watching is this previous low here around 96, 95. So we definitely have some support. We can also sort of bring that up to $100 a share as well. So anywhere under 100, I think there is a lot of buyers stacked up. And we can see that from the past here in November. And we can see that from Friday if I zoom in. look at this wick on the daily chart. So we moved all the way back down under 100, and we wicked straight back up and closed the day at 105. If I go to the 1 minute chart on Peloton from Friday, there was a crazy rally on this one. So you can see on Friday on the 1 minute chart, I'll go ahead and zoom into this for us. $100 a share is right around here. So we can see in the morning, we sort of chopped around, tried to hold the 100. Once we failed it, big flush through it. But after we got support here at 94, which you guys can see was sort of a double bottom here intraday, we had a strong move the rest of the day. I mean, basically straight up, very little red 1 minute candles. Let's go ahead and go to the 5 minute and see how many green candles there were on the 5 minute. So zooming into Friday on the 5 minute, look at these 5 minute green candles. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 5 minute green candles after that 11:30 bounce on the market. So very strong move back above 100. And if we zoom back out to the daily chart, we can see that we have very strong support there from the past back in November. So my first target here is to see if Peloton can get back to around 114, 115, which is this previous support level, which could potentially turn into resistance. And after that, if we get through that, I'm looking at this 126, 127 level. If we get through that, then ultimately we have the 100-day moving average as resistance if we move higher. 50% sell-off almost, very strong support under 100. I think Peloton is a good watch for a bounce if the market gets some support this coming week. All right, guys, so the next one here is Amazon. And as you guys probably know, Amazon has done nothing for almost a year of time. I mean, it's a little bit less than a year. From July until now, Amazon is basically flat. So any shareholders are not really enjoying holding those shares, not making any gains on them. And it's been very difficult to trade. So it's been very choppy here. But one thing you'll see is that we did create a wedge over the last few months. So we have a wedge pattern here. You guys can see these highs continued to be lower, and then these lows continued to be higher. So we created this wedge formation. And ultimately, on this market sell-off, we fell below this wedge. When a stock forms a wedge, it's either going to make a strong movement to one direction. So either to the upside if we get a strength, or to the downside if we get some weakness. And Amazon obviously made a strong move to the downside out of this wedge. Now, what you guys will notice is this previous support here around 2,900, just about 2,900. We'll take it from the body of this candle, and we can actually run this down a little bit further, all the way back in June or July. So this goes all the way back. 2,900 has been a very strong area of support, and this bullish candle from Friday definitely proves that there are a lot of buyers stacked up below 3,000 towards that $2,900 level. So zooming into this, you guys can see this candle right here. Look at that wick. So all the way down, straight all the way back up, and we closed the day almost back at 3,000. Actually, we did. We closed the day $3,000.46. So that means there are a ton of support below 3,000. So I do like that a lot. Could we find support here on Amazon? Could we move back up into this wedge? If we do, that is almost a 7% move back on Amazon. Let's say it wants to go back to this 100-day moving average, which is right around $3,200 a share. So $200 potential upside on a per share to the upside if Amazon gets a bounce with the rest of the market. The one thing that I want to just point out here is the wedge and is this strong support from back over the last previous months. So let's go ahead and see if we get a bounce here on Amazon. $2,900 looks like very strong support. I don't anticipate for us to break through that unless we get some really strong market-wide sell-off. At this point, I think it's a better bet that we get a move back into this consolidation. I wouldn't expect Amazon to go crazy and get back to the highs. I'm just looking to see if we can move back into the consolidation. That's been happening for 6 months just about. So let's see, keep an eye on Amazon, keep an eye on this strong $2,900 support. So we actually have a very similar pattern here on Lululemon. Now Lululemon, not a tech stock, not a big growth stock like some of the other names, but another stock that's had some really strong support. Created somewhat of a wedge here as well, so you can see if we take it from the highs, we've been making lower highs, and if we take it from this low here, we were trying to make higher lows here in a wedge pattern a little bit, but ultimately we failed out of it and moved down to the downside. So What you guys will notice, just like Amazon, very strong support at this triple bottom. So around $290 a share, around $285. We have bounced 3 times in the past. So here's one time here. Here's another time right back here in, what is that? That's in September. And then we have another time here just on Friday. So on Friday, we had that very bullish wick. You can see we moved down just like a lot of these other stocks, all the way down to $270 a share, pushed all the way back into the day and closed up above this 286 support level, which is very bullish in my opinion. According to technicals, that is a bullish sign. According to fundamentals and market strength, if the market falls over, technicals may not matter as much. But if we just look at this in a technical formation, if you trust technicals to make plays, then right here is a very bullish signal that there are buyers stacked up below this support level. Lululemon could easily move back into this consolidation, into this downtrend at around the 20-day moving average. So you can see as we were sort of grinding lower, we weren't able to break above that 20-day, similar to like we talked about on Tesla before. So I'll delete this wedge to make this a little bit more clear. So my first target here would be to see if Lululemon can get back towards this 20-day, which I'm assuming will open a little bit lower on Monday. Let's just go ahead and say it opens at around $320 a share. So let's see if Lululemon can find support here and consolidate back up into this 320 level. That's about an 8% move if we get some type of market support. You guys can see across all these stocks that we're talking about, I'm really giving you a bullish sign. I'm giving you a bullish side of the story. If we get a market support, if we get some type of bounce, these are the stocks that I would be watching to see if you can catch any upside momentum. So we definitely have some room up here to the 320 level. We sold off quite a bit from these highs. That's about a 30% drop, so 30% discount here on Lulu. And I really like this triple bottom here. Let's go ahead and see what happens. I'm going to go to the 1 minute just to see how this looked on Friday. And what we can see is it looked like a lot of the other stocks, a very strong move, bounced right off this 270, and actually in the after hours, which is right after 1400, right? After 1600, that's 4 o'clock. We had a little bit of movement here in the after hours, but a very strong move here at close of day from about 2 o'clock to about 4 o'clock, basically straight up holding this 20-day moving average. So a strong close on Friday. Looking at the daily chart, we can obviously see this very strong support. Lulu, another one that I'm definitely going to be watching. So I said we were going to talk about Google, so here it is. Here is Google, and this is very interesting. You do not see a sell-off here on Google at all. I mean, a little bit of a dip here, but look at these last few days on Google, and we can see that we held up very, very well. Now, I don't know the whole story behind why Google held up this well, but I think it's just, a FANG stock that is very resilient to market sell-offs, to emotions, to fear. It's a very solid stock. You guys can tell. You guys may know if you trade Google or if you've been watching Google. It's not a huge mover. It doesn't make huge swings. It's not extremely volatile. And I think that is sort of a safe haven across the tech sector for some investors. And that's why maybe we didn't see a big sell-off here on Google. But definitely a strong stock, as we can tell. We did sell off slightly from the highs, but I mean, this is nothing. This is 5%. So nothing compared to what the market did. And over the last 2 days, Thursday and Friday, we are close to all-time highs here. I mean, we're back at 2118. All-time highs is 2152. So we're just about 2% off all-time highs still. So very strong here on Google. Now, I don't know how we react if the market finds strength. If the market finds strength, maybe Google also finds strength on top of it. And since Google performed so well during this small sell-off, we could definitely see a strong move on Google. So I just wanted to bring this up. There's not many technical factors here since it did hold up so well, but we can definitely see this range that it's trading in up here. And we can also notice this big gap up that we had back on earnings. So maybe Google wants to fill this gap eventually down to around 1930. Potentially we could see that move back into this gap. Or Google just continues to stay strong with the tech market if it moves higher. Keep an eye on this one. Not many technical factors that I'm watching, but I wanted to sort of show you guys a stock that really held up during this recent tech slippage. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for this episode of Sunday Stock Talk. I still don't know the name that I'm going to call this. Just know that on Sundays, I come here, I talk about technicals, and you guys are more than welcome to stop by, look at some stocks that I'm watching, and prepare you for next week. You can let me know down in the comments below if you guys like Sundays, if you like Fridays, what day is better for you, and give me a nice catchy name to call this for YouTube so I can get more people to watch these videos, get more subscribers, and hopefully get some more likes on this video. If you enjoyed it, if you guys enjoyed some of the stocks, if you want to stick around for some future videos, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I'm hoping that 2021 is a great year for the channel. I'm putting some money into the setup so you guys can have some higher quality content. If you liked it, press that like button. Make sure to press that bell notification. I hope you guys have a successful trading week on Monday. If you want to trade with me every day, I trade live with the Discord chat. That's going to be the first link in the description below. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. I hope you have a great week coming up, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.